raise it up, why? Raise it up. You raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. Raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up, raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. Raise it up, 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 raise it up. Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is Wyann Vaughn, also known as Y, and this is another extraordinary episode of Raise It Up, Y, the podcast. We are coming at you the last Thursday of January 2021. New year, new things. Same you, but new year, new things. In an episode that we're calling Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. And for the OGs in the room, we all know that's from My Name is Ho, H to the O-V. Okay, anyways. This is going to be a fun episode. This is going to be an introduction yet again to what we already do here. Some of you guys know that here at Raise It Up Y, this is where OGs get to kick game to real ones only as well. This is the space where we raise your self-awareness, your vibrations, and your capacities for love, which is just knowledge, guys. It's just knowledge. So in this episode in particular, we're going to be visited by a group that I call the Masterminds in a Get Raised segment. You'll hear about them in just a moment. We're also going to celebrate. Y'all know that we're airing on the last Thursday of the month, but the day that we are taping is actually a dear, dear friend of mine and sister of mine's birthday. This is none other than Marlana Rapsody Evans's birthday 2021. So y'all see I am in festive gear. You had to dig that. We ain't playing with the rap love. We got it all around us today. And we're gonna get into a Douxadiddy from my EP that I released on the 13th of December in 2019. I do not think you all have heard this song as a Douxadiddy just yet. And we'll be talking about that as the episode closes. So make sure to tune in all the way to the end, because that last part, you will be able to hear some wonderful tunes that I'd like to share with you guys. If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere that we can be consumed as podcasters, I want to say thank you so much for listening. If you're a return listener, you know that you are my love, and I say thank you so much for the love that you have provided me, my team, and everything that we are about. I appreciate you. If you are a love looker, and you are on YouTube watching this whole shiznit go down, then number one, hey. And number two, thank you. Thank you for watching, rocking, for commenting, for sharing, for liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, being notified when we come on and when we do what we do. I really appreciate the love. I swear I do. From everyone. I just got done being a store for the latter part of 2020, and we had our merch run. And we was running. Let's give. We did a lot. We were there with you guys, and we were a whole store. Yeah. So 2021 will be a little more merch, but we're also going to do some other fun things that we're going to talk about in this episode. So many of you know that I am an edutainer. All right. And as an edutainer, I like to educate and entertain, all tied up in this beautiful bundle of trained therapy, being a master of social work and MSW from Long Beach State. Go Beach. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do what we do every episode. And we are going to ground ourselves, all right? Let's get some grounding cracking off, because we like to separate the space that you inhabited mentally, physically, and emotionally from whenever you tuned in to our broadcast to where you are now within our broadcast. So if you're listening to this sexy, sultry, buttery voice and you are driving, please, I invite you to keep your eyes open. But if you are anywhere else in the world and you feel so inclined to do so, please, let's have a moment for you right now. And you can close your eyes if you so feel and if you so choose. I'd like you to take a moment to be here with me. I want you to hear my voice. I want you to feel your feet. I want you to wiggle your toes and touch your nose, just for no other reason than to recognize that you are here. Ooh, a lot of people weren't here after 2020, but you are. I want you to breathe a thankful breath in and blow appreciation out. How about you do that again? In through your nose and out through your mouth. And just take a moment to own this. Man, this miracle that we call life. That you are breathing and you're winning just because you're living this life. Just by spending this time with my voice right now, you're investing into your betterment. And I want you to sit with that and feel proud. And welcome. Let's go up. Let's go TF up, as some loves of mine, listeners and lookers on my Instagram, my @Wyanna account, WYANNA. We like to say, rockets up on these hoes. And we call anything negative and all things negative hoes. Not hoes, hoes. We spell it hoes, HOEZ, but hoes. And when we get our positive inspiration and when we get our motivation cracking off between all of us being around each other, loving one another, speaking with one another, encouraging one another, we call that shit rocket fuel. This is non-corny positivity being brought to you within hip-hop culture from the West Coast to the fucking world. And we like to say that because when we do this positivity thing, some people like to say, oh, and then there's, no profanity and, oh, make sure that you speak this way. No. As the prophet Dr. Dre says, we don't do diet hip hop, okay? We put the fuh in our cuss. Fucks, right? We do it all right? So long as we are looking to be fertilizer to the game and be a space, hopefully a safe space where everyone who's listening to us can grow, then we're doing our jobs. We are non-corny positivity, my loves. I want to start with a get raised. And I usually end my episodes before I go into my Wyann's words of wisdoms with my get raised. However, I wanted to start this episode with a get raised because I have the privilege of having two of my friends, also mental health practitioners. One, I'm using their names as indicated by their handles on Instagram, which is at Mitsun Okada. Don't worry, we will spell it for you later. Chill out. And at urban_counselor. So we're going to be talking in this Get Raised section about boundaries. This episode is called Allow Me to Reintroduce Myself. One, this is a new year, all right? A new year. I have new listeners, new onlookers, new loves. And I want to be able to let you guys know who I am, what my platform is, no N in platform, that's what I heard. What my platform is and what we're all about. So to an extent, whenever you're going higher in your levels of life, you're constantly and consistently having to reintroduce yourself. Let people know who you are. But what I also recognized about this life is that as you introduce yourself and what the importance of reintroducing yourself to certain people, the importance is of reintroducing yourself to people that you might already know, is the fact that as you set resolutions for yourself for the new year, let's just say, or doesn't have to be an event like the new year, maybe you just want to do something different with your life. You want to better your life in this way or that. Whenever you decide to be a new way, that new way has begun in your life. I think biblically they say, as a man thinketh, therefore he is. Not therefore he will be, not therefore he was, therefore he is. You think it, you are it. All right? And what I've discovered in this life is when you've decided a new way of living for yourself, or a more intentional way, it doesn't have to be new. It might just be improved. It might be evolved, more mature. If you've discovered a new way that you're looking to live this life, sometimes that comes with something called boundaries. And I wanted to explore boundary setting with these two individuals, my loves, and a group that I have called the Masterminds of the Raise It Up Y crew. We have with us, yes, on this phone. No, you may not see them. It's late. Let it be. Let it be. We have the wonderful Miss Mitson Okada, as you will see on her Instagram. Mitson, can you say hello to the people?
Hello, everybody.
Y'all love it. Y'all love it. I know we love it. And we have the incomparable @urban_counselor from here on out, named just Urban. His real name is Dana Lewis. I know that he is a real man behind this, moniker that exists on social media, but you will find him at Urban Counselor online, Urban_counselor. And so I'm just saying for continuity's sake that we are now going to hear from the incomparable Urban. What's going on, Urban Counselor?
Hey, what's up, Wyann? What's up, Raise It Up family?
Hey.
Glad to be here.
Hey. So,
yeah.
I wanted to discover or uncover or explore. I like all these words, by the way. But I wanted to explore the idea of setting boundaries, especially because it's the new year. You guys know that, your professions deal with helping people become better versions of themselves, or at least understand themselves more fully where they are. So I want to start with Mitson, and I want to ask you, what are boundaries as you would define them?
So for me, I think back to actually the book Boundaries by Doctors Henry Cloud and John Townsend. And they, the way that they talk about it just really puts it quite plainly. It just basically clarifies what is me and what is not me, and where I end and where someone else begins. So basically it's about taking responsibility for your own life and for everything that pertains to your own life, and to give other people responsibilities for their lives. And I think a good way to illustrate that is just kind of the saying that somebody else's crisis is not my crisis. Somebody else's emergency is not necessarily my emergency. So just because, a friend is catering a big dinner, pre-COVID or post-COVID.
Right. Sure.
Hopefully people aren't doing that right now, but they're doing a big dinner, and say one of their vendors pulls out at the last minute and they need somebody to help them organize something. Well, that's not your emergency, because if you don't have a stake in the business, or if you don't work for them, if they're your good friend, you want to see them succeed.
Sure.
But ultimately it's their responsibility. So you support the friend where you can, but if you also have your own business, let's just say you run a store or an antique business or something, and you have some big projects coming up yourself.
Right. If
you were to take time away from that to go help your friend with their catering business, and you won't have enough left over for your own business. So basically just attending to the business that is yours.
Love. Same question to Urban Counselor. What are boundaries?
So boundaries, from my point of view, is that boundaries, when you think about it, is when a person determines what they allow in and what they are going to allow out of their life, and making sure that they set appropriate limits. Nice. And when you look to start setting boundaries on a consistent basis, it helps to protect, and it also helps to boost, your spiritual, emotional, and physical health. And it's essential when you're talking about boundaries to have those in place, because it helps to create healthy relationships and overall a healthy life. And one thing I like to tell people when it comes to boundaries is that it's a skill. It's a skill that you gotta practice and do on a continuum so that you can get the hang of it. And once you start doing it more often, it helps to boost your confidence. And boundaries, it can be hard, but it can be done. And it's necessary for you to live and to really, be protected from things that will want to impact your mental health overall.
Ooh, so I think you all are learning why this pack of Negroes is called the Masterminds. All right, you better ask somebody, baby. I'm like sitting here. This is difficult because they're saying stuff, and I'm like, ooh, yes. I realize we're all sharing the one mic, so I'm trying to keep my comments back and everything. But bro, boundaries. It's where you start, another person ends. It's where you define what you allow in you and what you allow out of you. Bro, boundaries on a very, very physical level. We're in my kitchen at my house. I don't know if I'm breaking the fourth wall right now. We're in my kitchen in my house. There is a wall over there. On the other side of that wall, we talked about this. We called it the what? Foyer, because I want to feel like I'm balling, and I am balling. Todd, thank you. So now that I'm balling, Susie, thank you. Right here, on the other side of this wall is the foyer to my house. Foyer, it's French, no R, it's spelled with an ER, let it happen. Anyways, the fact that this wall is set here, it is a physical, real life boundary that separates the space here versus there. Space here being called my kitchen, space there being called my foyer. How about this? The four walls, a lot more, but the outside walls of this house determine inside versus outside. These things are very physical to see. So I love when I hear urban counselors say, yeah, they might be hard to set, but you can set them. I freaking love that. I know I just gave a very physical example of boundary setting. Back to what I call our resident PsyD, Miss Mitson. Do you have an on deck example of how to set boundaries that you maybe even provide your clients or that you do in your personal life? What does boundary setting look like for you?
I think for me, it's pretty straightforward when you think about boundaries. It's, just in terms of going from the perspective of where I end and somebody else begins, just clarifying for yourself, okay, what is it that I am able to do? What is it that I'm willing to tolerate in a relationship? What type of things does my partner do, or does my friend do, or my business partner do that are acceptable and that are not? So basically just clarifying those things for yourself, and then strategizing to say, how can I create more of the behaviors or make room for more of the behaviors that I want, mm-hmm. or create the dynamics that are healthier for me, and distance myself from those dynamics or those behaviors that I don't want. And I think for a lot of people, it's just learning to speak up and being very uncomfortable. And I'd love to hear you talk about this, Urban, in terms of how you guide people to deal with the anxiety that brings up for them. I tend to take the gentler approach in terms of, okay, well, I'm seeing you're having this issue and this is not something that I can really fulfill. So let me help you set up, a system for yourself to maybe attend to that need.
Right.
And then I'm going to hand this over to you. That's actually what I've been talking about with someone who is dealing with an issue with their spouse, that they're not able to fully take responsibility for themselves. So the client is shouldering a lot of the business and the financial responsibilities and the household responsibilities, and even helping with the other person's healthcare needs. And it's just really draining for them. So just wanting to say, okay, well, these are some things I need you to learn to do for yourself. I will help you set this up for yourself.
Right.
But then you're on your own after that.
Got it.
In whatever way that feels comfortable or that feels like something you can do. And that's in the best case scenario, but obviously there's other scenarios where, there's abuse happening. Or there is, something that needs to be addressed more immediately. Right. And I would love to hear Urban talk more about that and how to guide people through that process and that discomfort that comes with it.
I love it. Urban counselor, what do you think, or what have you seen that boundary setting can look like?
Yeah, so just to piggyback off of Mitson, what I do and what I tell clients to do when it comes to setting boundaries and to overcome that barrier when it comes to anxiety around setting boundaries is to always remind yourself is that, hey, I can give myself the permission to set the boundaries in my life. Because once I understand that I have the permission to set boundaries, that in turn increases my self-worth and most of all my self-respect. And what I've noticed just in sessions when we're talking about setting boundaries, a lot of times there's a lot of fear, guilt, and self-doubt if I decide to set a boundary with someone. And a lot of times we don't want to set boundaries because, hey, what would they think? I want to be there. I want to be in all places, and I want to show that I'm capable of doing this. Where at the end of the day, I always tell people, man, that you will see who is in your life when you tell them no. You will get a clear picture. Once you start setting boundaries, you will see who's for you and who's not. And I think that's important to let clients know that, you have every right to set the boundary. Because the more you are consistent, like I said earlier, in setting the boundaries in your life, the more that you will start to feel more confident. The more that you will start to say, you know what, I'm worth this boundary. Like, I'm worth it. And I think I believe that that's the message as clinicians that we need to get over to our clients to help them overcome the anxiety. Like, hey, you worth it. You worth it, sis. You worth it, bro. Like, these boundaries that you set are going to be for the benefit. It may not feel like it initially, but as you start to do it more and more, you will start to become free and liberated within yourself. And then, believe it or not, people will respect you more when you start to value you and set those boundaries. So that's my take on that.
Listen. I wish you could, y'all can see me over here. Well, you'll see me on the podcast, obviously, but I'm sitting here snapping. I'm just sitting here like, yes, a fucking yes, okay? Like, when you're setting, okay, forget it. Not last episode. We're on episode 27. We had 26, which was the 13th episode. We do 13 every year, even though we do one podcast a month. Our 13th always is the Christmas of life. The New Year Eve. Yeah, not the Christmas Eve, the Christmas of life. So the New Year's Eve of the year that's about to come. Last year, AKA a few weeks ago. It just so happens that the last Thursday of the month and the freaking New Year's Eve happened on the same damn day. And oh, if you could have seen my face when I had that realization, I was like, what? But anyways, on episode 25, the 12th episode of 2020 that we did was called What About Your Friends? What about your friend? Okay, right? So that was me and Chris Cadenhead, who's usually right behind that camera right there, who's editing this episode. Chris Cadenhead and I sat here and we talked about when you have real friends in your life, they act like what I was calling real mirrors. They reflect back to you who you actually are, who you fully are, all parts of you, whenever you happen to lose your way, because this is life. We're navigating it as we go. I was telling somebody, I'm like, I'm 38 this year, but I ain't never been 38 before. Now, if you want me to tell you about what it's like to be 36, 37, I got you, because I've been it. I'm past it. I'm done it. So I can tell you the entire year and what it's like. But this 38 thing, I'm weed whacking it day by day as it goes. I'm trailblazing. And all of us are. Everywhere we are in life, every age we are in life, we're doing it as it comes. So when you get lost, as you are literally trailblazing your way, your real friends are mirrors that reflect back to you the whole of who you are, where your quote unquote fake friends, as the kids like to say, your fake friends are the friends that will hold up a distorted image of you, usually one, maybe two pieces of who you are. And they will attempt to make you believe that those pieces, one or two pieces of you, is who you are totally. Case in point, a person who wants to drink less, maybe even take alcohol out of his life because he recognizes he has an unhealthy attachment to it. He might even call, or other people might even call his condition an alcoholic one. He might be addicted to alcohol. So he decides to set the boundary. New year, same me. Just improved. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep myself in spaces that don't have alcohol in them. Therefore, the bar, I'm not going there no more. Therefore, the club, if I'm with the right person at the right time and I'm away from the bar area, maybe if I have business there, maybe this might be something that he sets up as boundaries for himself. Well, what happens when you have a whole mess of friends who all hung out with you at that bar, or a whole mess of friends who would buy bottles with you and be at a table when they would go to the club? These friends don't want you to leave the circle. They're going to look at you and say, bro, you're changing. Wow, brand new. Whoa, you hella brand new. Damn. I'll tell you like this. Someone told me, I think it was in my master's program, you'll know the people who shouldn't have been around you by when you set the boundary, they feel offended by it. When you set a boundary for yourself so that you are doing, performing, and being better, becoming better because you think this will make you better, and somebody feels offended by it, it's because they were gaining from your lack of discipline or from you not having the boundary in that area. God forbid you were the one financing everybody's alcoholic problem. You was the baller. You was the one with all the money, or you was the one who knew all the bitches and you brought everybody to the table. God forbid. Of course they don't want you to start thinking different of yourself and not being in the places where they were reaping the benefits of your energy. Vampires, bro, they don't just come out at night. These energy suckers are everywhere. Listen, they really are. So, wow. I really, really enjoyed what you masterminds have said. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure you remember at Mitzen Okada, we will have the spelling for you in a minute. But if you are listening, I do want to spell it out. MITZENOKADA is our resident PsyD. That is a doctorate of psychology degree holder. And we have at urban_counselor. If you don't know how to spell urban or counselor, talk it into your phone because I'm not about to spell it all. It's a lot. But this man's real name is Dana Lewis. you can catch these two beautiful entities usually on Love Tuesdays, L-U-V-E, if you look at the hashtag, L-U-V-E, Wyann spell now, L-U-V Tuesdays, Tuesdays. Tuesday is a motherfucker. I just want y'all to spell off rip. Shit. Anyway, Love Tuesdays is something that we do at 6 p.m. on the Best Coast. I'm sorry, Urban Counselor, on the West Coast. It's a great coast where you are as well. We love the Atlantic Ocean. So the West Coast, 6 p.m. on my @Wyanna, WYANNA account on Instagram, we process and talk about further topics that we bring up right here on Raise It Up Why. So if you ever want to bump into these masterminds, this is just what they are, please join us 6 p.m. on Tuesdays on the @WYANNA Wyanna account on Instagram. We would love to have you. And now, like, these two are like famous. Fucking come hang with us. Like, what the fuck? So I wanted to say thank you so much to Mitson and Urban. And did you all want to say any last shouts out or tell everybody something as you sign off? Two of you?
Yeah. Oh, Mitz, you can go first. You can go first, Mitz.
Look at all that humility.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Urban. Thank you so much, Y, for having me on here and thinking of me, thinking of us for this conversation. Very important for people. And one thing that I always remember is, we've talked about, and Wyann, you remember us talking about Brene Brown in our first Sunday meetings, and how she dealt a lot with vulnerability and shame and courage and all these important, human things. So, and in her research, what she found was that the people with the most compassion had the best boundaries.
Woo!
And I thought that was really powerful, because when you have poor boundaries, and I've seen this in my own life, when you have poor boundaries, you resent the hell out of everybody and everything. Love. Because you're just kind of like, right. Well, why do I got to be here doing this? And they act like that. And they know what I do for them? That's when we start to get into our martyr complex about things. And we all know Urban, especially in his work, I'm sure, has clients who have family members, or maybe they themselves get on their self-righteous tip on, I've done this, and that, or this person has, because they've done this, they're holding it over me and making me feel as though I need to do this, and that, or they don't, or I don't love them. So it can get really twisted. But if you do have really good boundaries, you have room in your heart to express love the way you want to express love. You have room in your heart to fully function in a relationship in the way that's the healthiest for both of you. And setting boundaries it is for you, but it's also for the other person, because if they don't ever run up against that boundary, they don't know their own potential or their own skills, or their own sense of value and worth can be held back from that, because you are doing more for them than what they actually need. So I just think that that's a really powerful thing for me to remember always about boundaries.
Abso-freaking-lutely, resident side D. Let's go. Urban Counselor, Mr. MSW, just like Brene Brown. What could you say as parting words? What's some last thoughts that you want the loves to know?
First off, I want to say thank you, Y, for having me and Mitz on here and just putting together the Mastermind team. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you again. And final comments, man, around setting boundaries is that when you're setting boundaries, it's basically saying that you are a priority. And it's nothing wrong with making yourself a priority. Because at the end of the day, and please remember this, if you don't remember anything that I said, when you make yourself a priority, basically what you're saying is that, I'm my greatest resource. When the rubber meets the road, at the end of the day, you are your greatest resource. It doesn't mean that you don't serve people. It doesn't mean that you don't support people, but you can only serve people at a full cup. When you're at half a cup or even lower than that, your service is not necessarily service at all, and it can be not as beneficial to you or others. So just make sure that, boundaries, as you're setting them, be patient with yourself. If you need to seek support, tap in with a counselor.
Always.
Like myself, Mids, why, who want to be a dope coach, you know what I'm saying? Tap in with her as well. And, just make sure that you be gentle to yourself as you are setting these boundaries, and, take it one day at a time. Start small and be like a snowball effect.
Yep.
Get that ball rolling, get the confidence rolling on setting boundaries. So those are my final words.
You guys are so awesome, man. That's why I knew I had to change this. This segment, I'm just letting the two of you know, I had it as a get raised because I was going to speak on this topic. And then I was like, hold on. I know two people who would totally smack this whole topic around. Like, why don't I invite them in? And as me and the angels, my angels are my assistants, Susie Q and Onette Zellicka, Q and EZ, they're the alphabets. I was sitting here as I'm talking with you, or the two of you, I was like, wait. They're about to really kill this shit. This is not a raise them up. This is not a Wyann-led thing. This is a get raised. This is about to be me learning some shit as well. And let me tell you, you all did not aim to disappoint. I don't know that you ever do. And I can tell you this was no exception. The two of you are awesome. Y'all hold me accountable in ways y'all don't even know, just by some of the stuff I hear you say, even on our Love Tuesdays, and just checking in with one another as we do in the Masterminds chat that we have. Like, I'm telling you, the two of y'all held me down in 2020 in some points when I thought I was going to pull all this Pocahontas hair out. I promise you, when I tell you, let me say, So the two of you are my shit. I love you guys to no end. And I hope you all have a great, great night. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you tune in and tap in to Love Tuesdays, hashtag LUV Tuesdays on @Wyanna, WYANNA on my Instagram, and you will run into the resident Saidi that is Mitsun Okama, Wyanna Vaughn, Wyanna Mitsun Okada, MITZENOKADA, and my fellow MSW, urban_counselor. Don't know how to spell it. Talk it into Google. It will tell your ass. All right. My babies, you guys have a great night. I'm going to finish this episode out and let these babies go. I got three of my former students, my mentees with me, and my shot by six. I got June with my mobile camera. Hey, June, right there. So I'm feeling happy and fun because I have a whole, crew vibe going on over here. So thank y'all. Thank y'all for being on with me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for having us, for sure.
Absolutely. We gonna live about this either, if it's not tomorrow, just for the shits and giggles. We'll talk about what we did on Tuesday, and that'll be a teaser for what everybody can look forward to on Thursday next week.
So that was dope.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
awesome. Look forward to it.
I love y'all. I'm gonna hang y'all up, and I'll finish the episode.
All right. Love you guys too.
Peace.
All right. Mwah, mwah,
Good
mwah.
night.
All right. Bye.
Yeah.
I love them. I love them. That was so sweet. So, as y'all see, 2021, new things, same me, bitch. So we out here trying some stuff. So this Get Raised is our first Get Raised. That's a freaking lie. This is our second Get Raised without having the individuals right here in the room. The first Get Raised was episode 3, where Quavo and Mickey Fats came on, right? They came on because those two individuals Quavo is a student of mine who helped me, who helped inspire me to create the @Raise It Up Y platform. And Mickey Facts was another validating force that was like, girl, if you don't make a podcast and make sure it's visual, because you're too pretty to only his words, not mine, but I believe it. The fuck? So, moseying right along, y'all. I hope you guys got something from that Get Raised. Setting boundaries is a must. It's a privilege to yourself and the ones around you, as was said by the Masterminds team. You are not being greedy, selfish, or entitled or egomaniacal by making sure you have you put together. And if anybody thinks that you are being anything negative by making sure that you maintain, manage, and protect your space and your energy and your time, then those individuals are not for you. They're just not. And let that be that. There's no two ways about it. Breaking it down, going right into the next section, and we're breaking it down. You all know that while you're watching this on the 28th, if I'm not mistaken, 21 plus 7, wait, what is it? 21 on the year 21? That was for Chris. So on the 21st plus 7, so on the 28th is when you guys are going to be watching this. We are taping this on the 21st. And like I said, it is Rapsody's birthday today. And I wanted to do in my break it down section, Get Raised, which is the portion that just happened. Get Raised is where we invite OGs onto the show to not only raise you all, but raise my black ass up too. When you hear me say raise them up, that's me kind of giving you education from my edutainer's perspective, you know, and that's me giving you more of my shtick and my take. The break it down segment is where we uncover the genius in hip hop. The idea being we shouldn't have to leave us to feed us, right? So there's positivity that happens right here in the community. One such beacon of light, let me tell it, is the beauty and the beast, as one of her projects is called. Man, Rapsody she's an important piece to hip hop culture, not just because she's my sister and not just because she's a black woman even. Her talent is hard to match, not just by other lady MCs, by any MC. I love her style. I love that she started off in poetry. All of rap music, by the way, all of rap started off from poetry and a poetic sense. There's only two types of written language. It's either prose or poetry. And so if you're not writing a letter, a paper, a post, an essay, if you have rhyme and rhythm and other literary liberties going on in your writing, then you are doing something poetic. And poetry is the seed that once planted and put with some rhythm became rap music. So never forget that. This woman is an amazing poet, bro. Not only is she an amazing poet, she's an outstanding rapper. She earned the BET Lyricist of the Year award, right? Like literally. And what's funny is I think T.I. presented it to her and she's like, this is like my first award, like my first award ever. He was like, yes, that I get to, yes, yeah. I loved that moment. They surprised her with that. So the reaction you saw on the BET Awards, that was a real surprise reaction. That wasn't staged. I love that. She's my homegirl and an amazing woman. The 2019 release that she created called Eve celebrated Black women without it being popular to celebrate Black women. She did so because that's the type of person that she is. I plan to have her on this show, so I don't want to give away too much of the gems that I house, that she's allowed me to have and put in my crown. Yes, that's another double entendre. She had a project called Crown. Thank you, 2017 release. Yeah, my sis is an extraordinary artist, talent, woman, person. The last thing I did before COVID took us down, took us down, took us down, boy. That's funny because that's produced by Cash, who is the president of Jamla Records. That's one of the songs on my EP. That's just really funny. Anyways, but one of the things that I love is that the last event that we went to, which was election day. Do you remember that? I had to go vote that day. So that was March 3rd, 2020 or something like that. It was a Tuesday for sure. And I went to go vote after I left Ujima. Y'all remember that? So, and you met us at Zanku, Q. You remember you met us at Zanku and we all ate. So funny. So we went to Rapsody's show in LA at the El Rey Theater. My baby sister, Whitney Fly, she's on episode 22. My angels, who you guys have never seen because they won't come over here sometimes. One of them is telling me, hell no, and she calls all the angels. She's the reason they're called the angels. That's so funny. But she won't come over here. And the other one is like, no, I'm a model. I don't get to come over here. Her name is Susie Q. But they all went with me to a show of Rapsody's right here in LA. And I think she might have done one more show before COVID stopped her tour. She didn't get to do the Friday the 13th of March last year. And that would have been in her hometown of, her hometown is Snow Hill, but in North Carolina. She would have been able to do her show. She was not able to do her show because COVID shut everything down. But that was one of my favorite things. It's also where I got this dope ass hoodie that I think Rapsody, I'm so sorry, because I know you didn't even get to get this hoodie. Kids, y'all see this? Y'all see that? Rapsody right there on my right arm where I write. On my right where I write. If you are listening, that just did nothing for you. I'm so sorry, Apple Podcast, Stitcher, and everyone else. However, I love that she made that album, Eve, because it gave us something to celebrate and sing along with. Just the other day, if you're, when you're listening to this, is going to be a couple weeks removed from when we were supposed to wear pearls and Chucks. I'm going to tell you guys that I have on Chucks in the form of Uggs, but I have on Chucks right now because my feet are cold. And my pearls are popping for our VP. But before Pamela, there was Michelle. Listen. And that ladies first tonight. I was listening to that all while the inauguration was going up. But I wanted to break down the lyrics of one of my favorite songs on Rapsody's album from 2017. Boop. Boop. Yep. Mm-hmm. My angel's getting me right. Sorry about that, y'all. So I wanted to explicate one of the verses from one of my favorite songs from Laila's Wisdom, which I believe came out in 2017. September, something like that. I could be wrong. But it's called Pay Up. And the first verse says, we talking about that's big money on your visa. That's the only way you'll get her and the only way she won't leave you. She say, some chick, how much you think it costs for this weave, huh? You like the way it looks, then, baby, it's gonna cost you something. You spoil her good, she like real leather. She like exotic trips, good weather, all you got to offer is to love her better than the rest. Told her you don't need a dime to be better than the best. Thought it would impress. Picked her bouquets, but she only want new boots like Beyonce. He like, I got dreams that'll one day pay. She looking at you like, baby, I ain't got time to waste, so pay up. I wanted to talk about that verse because it kind of describes the culture of love. I know this is just a couple weeks before Valentine's Day, and so y'all getting ready for y'all love vibes and things like that. But it's so funny. There's this narrative of love in our culture today. Y'all heard of toxic relationships, or I need more toxicity. I heard someone say that. No, I mean that's cool, but I need more toxicity in my relationships. I'm like, poison? You need more negativity? You need more, I don't know. It kind of threw me to something I talked about last year, episode 15 of the podcast, which was, I think it was What's Love Got to Do with It. And in the words of wisdom, we talked about fear versus love. Fear Street versus Lover's Lane is how I coined it, and we talked about it. But I remember some part of that words of wisdom where we said something about the fact that sometimes people think that being on Lover's Lane is like too mundane, it's too commonplace, it's too boring. I already know everything that's gonna happen. There's no zest. Some people think that the fun happens when things are fucked up or when you don't know if he's gonna hit you. I was working with women in recovery from addictions, and a 100% of my classroom that I was providing counseling services to, therapeutic services to, said, I subscribe to the hit me but don't leave me school of thought. One young lady, she was a young lady, Latina lady. One young Latina lady said that in a room full of Black and brown girls, all mothers at this particular facility when I was providing these therapeutic services. And we were doing therapeutic intervention with art. So we were like kind of crafting something. And she said it, like we was talking about something and she raised her hand and she's like, I kind of belong to the, hit me, but don't leave me school of thought. And I remember that rocking my shit so hard. I was putting something together and I was like, but I didn't want to make it, I didn't want to make it feel like I was judging her with my reaction, but it really did catch me off guard. So my next question was, that's interesting. How many people can identify with what such and such just said? By a show of hands. The whole room. There were almost 20 women, not girls, women with families, bills, life in that class. And they all said, I would rather him hit me than to leave me. That's toxic, ladies and gentlemen. In a minute, we're going to talk about healthy connections versus trauma bonding in the Wyann's words of wisdom. So we're going to revisit this topic in just a second. But I just want to say here, in case you don't make it to that part of the conversation, I was just wanting to make sure that you all know having a relationship with someone that goes deeper than like this Rapsody verse is talking about, where a woman would only see a man as a sponsor. She wants him to pay up if he wants to be with her. That's the way I want you. That's the way that you get me. That's the way I won't leave you. I look like money, so you better spend money on this. That's one way to do relationship. I'm not here to judge anybody. And if that's your truth, that's your truth. What I can say is that is one version of a relationship that can be described as more shallow than the depth of love that you encounter when there is trust, vulnerability, courage, and resilience in some form of a relationship. And I know I sound like the positivity princess, which is my moniker around the West Coast. That's actually Exhibit's Uncle Vidal's name for me, the Princess of Positivity. So I know that that's, some people don't find fun in positive. Like, oh no, that's corny. All the positive stuff. I need some spice. That might be your bag. Spice or non-spice. Toxic connecting, toxic relationships is 100% more shallow than trusting, intimate, fall face forward or face backwards. It doesn't matter. And somebody is going to catch you with love, healthy relationship and connection. And you can debate me on this if you'd like, but I wouldn't respond because I know my boundaries. And a wise man told me never argue with fools because from a distance, niggas can't tell who is who. So, yeah, I want you to look and see, especially for any lady that might resonate with this type of story. You want to take exotic trips. You would rather have somebody that would buy you more expensive things in life than just gift you with the beauty of, whatever is in the means of what a loving, good-hearted person could give you. I would just implore you to maybe look in the mirror and see what you're giving yourself and see if that is enough. Because if it's not, then I can understand why you would think you needed to supplement what love felt like by way of using someone else, whether it be their money, as in the illustrated picture here in this verse of Pay Up from Rhapsody and Laila's Wisdom, or if it's an energetic thing, whatever it might be, however it might be. I can tell you this. I would just pray that you explored what you are, who you are, and what makes you, so that you could have the possibility of, I don't know, entering in something a little deeper and a little more authentic with yourself. Hold on, I'm gonna give a pause for the cause. Go ahead. They can. I'm pausing so they can go. It's good. You lock it, and she can close the door heavy. Close the heavy door. You close the heavy door? Oh, it was quiet. Wow, that just made me excited right there. I don't know why, but so Douxadiddy. Third segment of the episode will be at the end of this episode. This will be at the end of this episode. The Douxadiddy for this episode is going to be called Love Unconditional. It is the final song on the Wyann EP. I wanted to revisit this one because everybody knows, if you've been around the Wyann show, which is what I call my life. If you've been around me for a minute, you all know that song only made it on my EP because my current angel, my auntie Pam, is who loved that song the most. Pam, for those who don't know, makes up fourth of the sister group that is The Emotions, Grammy Award winning 70s soul group, The Emotions. If you don't know them, you got the best of my love, whoa, whoa. So I'm only doing that because, again, since the first episode, a lot of new people are probably listening and following, so you might not know that is my mom and aunts that I currently tour with them when we can overtly tour. Well, we did a virtual gig. So yeah, currently still touring with The Emotions. And my sister Wendy talks about how she ended up subbing in for Aunt Pam in starting in 2018 or 19, as my aunt's health kind of started waning and declining. And my Aunt Pam was grooming my sister Wendy to take her place in the group when she ended up passing away. We weren't ready for her to go. We didn't know that she was going to go on her birthday last year, September 18th. Fun fact, September 18th is also Exhibit's birthday. So they shared the same birthday and everything. And so since then, I listened to Love Unconditional a whole separate way. I love the bridge on that song. The bridge, for you young R&B heads that don't know about bridges, is the part where the music changes towards the end of the song after the two verses and the choruses. Don't worry about it. You'll get the vibe. But the bridge on that song says, leading out of the second verse into the bridge, if I'm not the one you need, then let me find somebody new. And then here's the bridge. To love unconditional. Like, let me find somebody new so that I can love them unconditionally. Love unconditional is more than a man can know. And it's more than some pretty show to convince me who I am. And to love unconditional is to know within your soul. And if you can't tell me what it takes to love you and at the depths of your soul, then who can, baby? Who can? To love unconditional is more than a man can know. It's more than a pretty show to convince me who I am. And to love unconditional is to know within your soul. So if you can't tell me, man, what do I feel? Right? The reality is, a lot of love, quote unquote, that we see today. I remember the whole hashtag relationship goals. You remember that? Relationship goals and all that stuff. It's so for show. What's the word you said the other day that people were doing with like when they look like they're saying Black Lives Matter, but they weren't really? It's so performative. It's so performative, the love that we have today. I knew a couple in the industry where it looked like love because the gentleman was buying his wife a new car every time she said she felt like she had a new car. Every time she felt like she wanted to have a new car. But from what I knew about them personally, every time he bought her a new car, it was because he had cheated and she found out, and that was her way of making him pay. Pay up. Shit, I didn't even think about that. But on the outside looking in, somebody seeing that situation would be like, oh my God, like he just loves her. He just spoils her. I know a lot of in therapeutic senses, I learned a lot of relationships where every time the woman had a new piece of jewelry, it was because he hit her. And this was the promise yet again that I'll never do it again, which came with the gift. Every time, if the beating was worse, the gift was more expensive. But just looking, oh my God, damn, she has everything. Oh, she got a Birkin. Damn, she got this. He got that. It's so performative. It's scary. And I say that because the bridge of that song, to love someone with an unconditional love, she says to love unconditional is more than a man can know. It's more than some pretty show, performative. It's more than the show. If you're trying to convince me who I am, I don't know, Todd, when's the last time someone had to convince you were Black? Never. Right, okay. When's the last time someone had to convince you were male? Right. So when you know what you are, and when you are what you are, convince me. What do you got to convince me of? There is no convincing me. I know who I am when I know where I am and what I am. So when I'm in a loving relationship, you can feel it. One of my OG's essays when I taught off 83rd in Vermont, it was in the A trade. That's the Crip section, but this was an essay, OG essay dude from, I can't remember his gang. Might have been Sodenios, might have been MS-13s. 13s, yay, 13. But this gentleman said he picked his old lady out of all the girls that he was talking to by way of the fact that she understood him and they never had to talk about stuff. And he talked to me and he was like, see, miss, with understanding, miss, ain't no explanation needed. With me and my old lady, I just know what I know. I don't gotta ask her. She don't gotta ask me. We don't doubt that. I was like, that's some real shit right there. Some very, very real shit right there. So I hope you guys enjoy when you hear Love Unconditional. I sang it with all my might after a day of teaching all freaking day at Ujima PCC, Pasadena City Colleges, Ujima program, their Black Student Success program. And voice was hoarse, but the deadline for getting the album done was coming. And I told Chris Cadenhead, my creative partner, also our producer on this show, I said, baby, if we don't get it done today, we ain't gonna get it. It's not gonna be perfect. If we wait for perfect, it'll never get done. Let's just do it and put it out. So I hope you guys enjoy it at the end of this episode. So stay on at the end, all right? Stay on at the end. And I'm gonna get us ready right now for some Wyann's Words of Wisdom. Today, in Wyann's Words of Wisdom, we are talking about how do you know when you're connecting versus trauma bonding? How do you know? How do you know? Last year, if you were with us, by it being 2020, we played off the idea of perfect vision, right? Our podcast, which one of our tenets is to raise your self-awareness, decided to take that opportunity to say, let's take the whole year and for 12 months, 13 episodes, let's talk about how to be more self-aware. Because perfect 2020 vision out there somewhere means nothing if when you look in the mirror, you see unclearly, or you see a blur, or worse off yet, you see nothing, something with no value. I didn't speak on it while Mitson and Urban were talking during the Get Raised section, but I kept hearing the words love and worth pop up. Kept hearing love and worth when it comes to boundaries. You got to know your worth. You got to know your worth, right? And you got to know with that worth comes a depth of knowledge and then love for self. You can't love what you don't know, right? So you got to learn about it first. Learn you first. And then you get to, once you decide all that you've learned is good and you like it, hey, I love me. I learned more of me. So now I love more of me, right? That's the whole third tenet of our podcast. And it's what we're going to focus on all 2021. So when we're talking about connecting versus trauma bonding, we're starting what that love, what self-love, and what worth all looks like. A couple of weeks back, I asked this question. How do you know when you're connecting versus trauma bonding? All over my social media platforms. And I'd been putting questions after questions after questions, and people were responding and replying quite quickly. When this question came across the screen, I got a few, ooh, now that's a good question. Or, shit, let me know when you find out. I even had people repost it to see if their network could find them an answer. Well, let's dissect it. Y'all know me, edutainer. We're going to start with some definitions. Human connection is an energy exchange between people who are paying attention to one another, said Google. It has the power to deepen the moment, inspire change, and build trust. Trauma bonding, Google said, is a psychological response to abuse. It occurs when the abused person forms an unhealthy bond with the person who abuses them. Stockholm syndrome is one type of trauma bonding. What I know about building relationship is that people experience healthy trust. In a good relationship, people experience healthy trust. And healthy trust comes from situations where a person learns to be able to depend on another after several consistent occurrences. For example, by Erik Erikson's philosophy, a baby learns to trust its caregiver based on its ability to be comforted on a consistent basis after it cries. A baby doesn't have its words just yet, so it only knows how to express itself mostly through crying. And just for the child development side of me, different cries signify different needs amongst a baby. But how people generally say that the baby loves the mom more, not true. Whoever comes more consistently, the baby will build a stronger bond with, rather a stronger attachment. A child building a relationship towards its parent is called attachment. A parent experiencing relationship with its child is called bonding. All right. The child development degree has just spoken to you. Congratulations. My math students learn to trust my teachings when they apply their skills that they honed in my class at their jobs or in other math classes, and they're consistently getting the right answers. People in life develop trust with others when they learn they can depend on someone to show up. Trust is furthered when the results of consistent showing up is fruitful and is positive. On the flip side, bonding with trauma as the glue poses a challenge to the health of any relationship. Instead of showing up consistently in a way that's positive, trauma bonding is where one learns to expect the worst from a person every time they show up. And in cases of neglect, it's expecting that a person will not show up when you need them or not show up consistently. In today's vernacular, people may associate trauma bonds with toxic relationships. Urban Dictionary describes toxic relationships as one where there is constant fighting, or the participants are on thin ice with each other, but are always trying to maintain the relationship. So I guess the main thing I wanted to say about choosing a healthy connection with another over trauma bonding is it takes guts. It takes guts to be in a healthy relationship. Expecting the least and the lowest out of people, out of humans, after a year like 2020 and the fuck shit we saw then, that shit is way too easy. That is so easy. How about in a relationship where the rhetoric is, you hurt me, so I'll just expect that you'll always hurt me. And since I ain't no punk, trust and believe, I'ma hurt you right back. That's as natural as returning a mean gesture to someone who's just given you one. What takes discipline, what takes couth and strength and maturity is learning that someone who has hurt you can be asked the question, what for? Have you ever done it? Have you ever decided to ask the person who has caused you hurt, especially in an intimate relationship, what was the purpose of doing this? No, I really want to know. Have you ever taken a learner's mindset to the individual who has just hurt your heart? I'll tell you this, healthy connection makes you choose you and your mental health over puny pleasure of get back in toxic relationship play. The best thing you can do to a low-level motherfucker is to leave them alone. You know the saying, misery loves company, right? So as long as you stick around, they win. As long as you stay. I love the people. He cheated on me, so shit, I cheated right back. I got him back with this person. I got him back with that. But you stayed, didn't you? Hit me, don't leave me. You stayed, didn't you? You're nursing the very person you think that you're paying back or hurting. Healthy connection starts at home, ladies and gentlemen. If you're living honest with yourself, you will bring that same honesty into your relationship. If you trust yourself, you will experience that trust within the relationship that houses you. Does that mean a person you choose to partner with will never be honest? Rather, will never be dishonest or will never hurt you? Hell no. Everybody got free will. Everybody carries the potential to hurt you. The thing is this, if you live that healthy connection, you're more likely to attract the same type of health from another person into your experience. And let's say that they hurt you. You recognize that if you are the positive component to the relationship, and that person is the, let's say, negative, they're bringing what feels like the negative component, what happens when you delete negative? Isn't it positive? What happens when you multiply a negative with a negative? What happens when you erase a debt? Don't you gain? Guys, don't make this math teacher come out. This is like, don't do that. Not tonight. Mind you, alignment, aka good connection to love and light, happens from moment to moment. That means the same person who was well and good can change to being disloyal and dishonest. But guess what? So can you. We all can. your ability to align and connect needs to be refreshed and checked moment to moment, not day to day, moment to moment, not hour to hour, ladies and gentlemen, moment to moment. So what we're looking for is connecting with people who choose their alignment more often than not. So even when they fuck up, they possess the power to self-correct and leave their egos out of the equation as much as possible when they do. Because be clear, what makes you cheat and lie and desire more than your fair share of loving from a person is all ego. Your ego will trash you for being good and bury you for being bad. Here go your ego. Pussy nigga. She right there and trying to give it to you. And here you go being loyal to a woman miles and miles away who would never know. Don't be stupid. So you go fuck old girl and you go home to your man and your house and your family. Now here's your ego. You know you a ain't shit ass nigga, don't you? This is a good girl and you done went and fucked it all up. I hope you happy, stupid. Shit. You fucked up so bad, you might as well go fuck the girl at your job. She been trying to give it to you. And you ain't no goody two-shoes ass nigga no more. Go off the deep end. Go ahead. There go your ego. It beat you up for doing the bad thing to encourage you to do a worse thing. Excuse me. I don't know if that's necessarily just your ego, by the way. We're going to talk more about the ego and all that stuff because I sometimes make the ego sound way worse than he is. He ain't all bad. Nothing in life is really always all bad. Very few things are that extreme and consistent. But the ego unchecked is the devil. The ego unchecked is hell on earth. That part I won't stand away from. I stand right by that. Ego-driven relationship can be toxic as fuck and could very easily find itself happy in a trauma-bonded connection. Healthy connections are rooted in balance, self-awareness, then love, maybe some worth, and alignment. So we'll uncover more about that this entire year. So buckle up. This is going to be fun. This is going to be a fun ride. And those are my words of wisdom for today. And before I go, hey, so I want you to know we're paying dues this day. In the Pay Your Dues segment or section of the podcast, it was brought about by my brother. My brother is in heaven currently, but my brother introduced me to hip hop. That was one of the best things he could have done before he physically left this earth. He introduced me to hip hop, and one of the first songs that really stuck with me for a funny reason, you can go back to episode 1 or 2 and learn why, is called Pay Your Dues. Rest in love and heavenly splendor and bliss, Wyann Jr. One of the first things I want to shout out on this Pay Your Dues section is the Doux. Why did that happen? Is the Doux, right? So if you're listening, this doesn't do anything for you, but this box of the Doux came to my house and I said, I ain't gonna open it till I do the podcast. Ooh, y'all know we live in the hood. The ghetto bird is above us. Okay, so look, check me out. Check me out. Dope curls on the go. Whoa, yeah. So, we got some fresh to death wash and go collection. We got some, I don't want no scraps, exfoliating shampoo. We got some, wow, that's deep. 5-minute deep conditioner. And we have some pop locking in my Rolls Royce Cadillac. 5-day curl forming glaze. 5-day. 5-day curls. Girls, get ready. Get ready. This is my cousin right here. Maya Smith, lead educator, MC, master of curl. Y'all wasn't ready. Yeah. Master of curl, freaking the founder and lead educator of the Doux, man. Maya Smith has found new creative ways to keep us tantalized and in love. We got all the styrofoam. Look, this is like really new. Like, y'all see I wasn't playing. This is 1000% one of the best things, y'all. So my wash and curl will be done in February. Yeah, it's just cold, y'all. I just can't do a lot of just water in my scalp. And it's cold. And my heater ain't working. Nah, we gonna wait. But the summer, all this is a wrap. All this is a wrap. So thank you, my cousin Maya. I love you so much. The Doux. I love the Doux more than you do. So, one of my little beauty babies named, yes, my angels keep me right, y'all. Just let it happen. One of my little angel babies, her name is Maya Batra at MAYABATRA, Maya Batra. Hold up, 2 seconds. The Doux at ILOVETHEDOUX or the Doux, THEDOUX.com. If you need to know that, just rewind that. I'm not gonna say it again. So, Maya Batra, who is my 13 little twin over here, her birthday is March 13th and I'm April 13th. Her family owns this Zeba. Hello, beautiful brows. Zeba, are you hip to this? This is her family. And when COVID happened, she gave me a brow kit at home, right? I was so intimidated by this kit that I didn't touch it. And so for this episode, I said, look, new year, same me, only better. And I put her not eyelashes. What is this? Eyebrows. Look, Ty. I did my eyebrows. Hold on, don't get too close. I don't know if it got the whole, but it does look good? Yeah. Oh. Yo, and this Zeba brow at home kit is outstanding. Her family packed it for me and gave it to me and my sisters. This was like one of the nicest things that happened during COVID. I was really appreciative to get it, and it felt like life wasn't so shitty because I had pretty brows. Because y'all know my regular brows don't grow in, and a nigga looks surprised all the time. So, moving on to the next. Thank you, Maya. Thank you. And then, y'all see all this hair? Hold up. I'm getting back long, huh? Yo. So, my hair lady at Hair by Quista, HAIRBYQUISTA, Hair by Quista on Instagram. She got me laid, ladies and gentlemen, laid. And I just looked at the doggone forecast. They say it's gonna rain tomorrow. Yeah, I ain't gonna talk about it. Yeah. Oh, where? Do I have a Raise It Up White beanie right here? In my room, in my drawer, on the right side, the top drawer. OMG, I forgot, because I had to shout us out too. Hello. But Hair by Quista is my third shout out for this episode. HAIRBYQUISTA. Fourth, my homegirl, my love, my sis, Rapsody at RAPSODY, Rapsody. Make sure that you go check her out if you haven't already checked her out, because she's basically the best. My name is Peaches, and I'm the best. All the DJs want to fill my breath. So here's the other thing. Y'all haven't seen this yet, but the fifth person I wanted to shout out today, y'all won't understand why he's important until y'all see me stand up. Uh-oh. Oh, I knew that. Boom, bap, just like that. Until y'all see me stand up. At Andrew Mena, ANDREW.MENA, is the owner of Vintage Fitness gym, private and personal training. And this gentleman is getting the girl right. He's getting me right. And I'm very interested. What? I'm very interested to see what this body of mine is about to look like. You know, quick story. I'll go through old pictures. I don't know if anybody else does this. I'll go through old pictures and look at like my body and how it used to be at its most fit, or how it used to be when it was like hella thin. I know, poor Todd, he's over here doing like this, Mr. Football playing and all that stuff. So I go on there and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna get back to that. And at the top of this year, God told me, when do I ever lead you back where I've already led you? Why? Why would I do that? Get ready for what's to come. Why? Like, you don't even recognize that you're gonna love it more than where you've been. And I look forward to that, because all those pictures where I really like the way I look, I didn't have C cups. And now I do. You understand? Let it happen. It's COVID. Let it happen, my boy. I wanna again thank my masterminds at Mitzen Okada, at MITZEN OKADA, and at Urban URBAN_counselor COUNSELOR. I sound like speaking spell like a motherfucker. Counselor, COUN. Okay. But I want to say thank you to the Masterminds crew for coming on, being on here at entertainment hours. They're therapists. So to be up at entertainment hours, they was like, hey, why? I know you said one time, it's like 17 years after that time. I'm like, I know, my life. So I just appreciate them for lending their very able, talented, and smart voices over to us. Last and never least, WyannVaughn.com, 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 where you can find everything there is to know about the Wyann show, which is what I call my life. But what I'm currently wearing, if you're on your YouTubes, is my at Raise It Up Y, RAISEITUPWY, Rockets Up on these hoes. I'm wearing my beanie. I told you guys earlier in the episode, I was a store for the last part of 2020, and these beanies and getting them out to people was a part of that while we were selling our merch. Let me tell you something. It's fleece lined, and wait, hold up. It is also reversible. If my hair looks crazy, don't tell me, because I think I look good. And boom, rockets up on le house. Rockets up is what we say when we're being courteous and cordial. But to the ones who know, rockets up on these hoes. What is he? Hashtag. So you guys, also, date when we're gonna do light work. LYGHTWORK. Light work is gonna be on January 30th, 1:30 at 1 p.m. on the West Coast. 1,300 hours on the West Coast. East Coasters, that's 4. Midwesters, that's 3, maybe? I don't know. But something like that. 1 p.m. on the West Coast, we are going to be doing an open house Zoom purity for my counseling, not counseling, it's not, I saw urban counselor, for my professional mentoring services, all right? I'll tell you more about it when you come. Be looking on my Instagram at Raise It Up Y, RAISEITUPWY, Rockets Up, or on my personal / entertainment Instagram account, which is at Wyanna, WYANNA. That's where we do our Love Tuesdays. If you wanted to join us on those 6 p.m. Tuesdays, 6 p.m. on the West Coast. On Tuesdays, we have Love Tuesdays, where we talk further about the topics brought up right here on this show. Hold up, swole up. I had one more thing I was gonna tell y'all. Oh, announcement. Raise them up for the next 5 episodes. No, not the next 5 episodes. Starting in March, and for 5 episodes after that, we are going to be reviewing the 5 love languages, okay? You all asked for it. I brought it up in episode 25 with Chris Cadenhead, And a few of you were like, Wyann, let's do that. Let's do it. So I'm like, let's go. I don't got no problems with it. So if y'all want to get the book and read it with me, this is not an ad. Mr. Gary Chapman has not given me any love on the price of this book. Hello. But definitely the 5 love languages, The Secret to Love That Lasts by Gary Chapman. I'm already started reading in it, and this will be done by this weekend more than likely, and I'll start doing my lessons plans for it for you guys and everything. Grammy? I just had it right here. Oh, yeah. I was Grammy nominated because of Rapsody. I just had this sitting right here, and I realized I never put it up, so I didn't know when I was supposed to. Yay, that's not a couple dates or anything, but it's just because I had it here. Guys, don't hang up because Love Unconditional is about to come right after this beautiful ending music that we're about to do. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I fuck with you guys. You're outstanding. You're amazing. You are my loves. We here at Raise It Up Why, all of this entire team appreciates every time we get to interact with you on Love Tuesdays, on Instagram, on the comment sections of any of our posts, Raise It Up Why, Insta, YouTube, Twitter, everywhere. We really, really, really appreciate you. And for now, that's all, folks. Stay lovely and stay real.
I'm on Facebook.
What I feel, it's so real. If your love ain't pure, then just stay on your own. Today you only love. Today I'm just enough. But tomorrow who's to judge? Do you know what's in your heart? The best way to love me, love, is to know that I'm the one. If you don't see me in the end, then don't lead me on to start. 'Cause what I feel, it's so real. But love is more than what I feel alone. What I feel, so real. If your love ain't pure, then just stay on your own. I've searched my heart and soul to find this love of gold. And I was always told, watch just who I gave it to. Yeah, I'm tired of crying eyes and I'm tired of lonely nights. If I'm not the one you need, let me find somebody new to love unconditional. It's more than a man can know, and it's more than a pretty show to convince me who I am. And to love unconditional, it's to know within your soul. And if you can't tell me, then who can, baby? Who can love unconditional? It's more than a man can know, and it's more than a pretty show to convince me. Oh, love unconditional is to know within your soul. And if you can't tell me what I feel it's so real in my heart. What I feel, it's so real. What I feel, it's so real. What I feel, it's so real in my heart.